Sway in the morning shade 4 or 5, man.
Oh, yeah.
We just have to get the mood right. Young man walking up in here right now, Heather B.
Mm-hmm.
We talking primetime Emmy Awards, Heather. I mean, we talking Golden Globe Awards, man.
Statham.
I mean, it goes on and on. We talking proprietorship. We talking Indian Meadows Productions. It goes on and on. I mean, you know him for different reasons. I know him for one of the reasons. I knew he came into Northern California back in the 90s.
Wow.
Back when I was on 106 KMEL. Come on, throwing all the concerts that he probably went to. You know, all the artists that he watched perform on those stages in the 90s. We were right there with him. I knew he had something special. We hadn't met yet. But we met when I first saw him on screen. He did that O.J. Simpson trial.
Yes,
Playing Anthony Darden. Remember that?
Killed it.
He can't remember. You got to remember
Thank
that.
Remind him.
I knew he had a lot of Go ahead, DB. What else?
I was taking a drink. Excuse me.
Sway managed to bring the day in it, though, somehow.
Sway was doing so good.
Because he went to Stanford
man.
University. Come on, man.
Indeed.
Well, I just ran into one of his co-stars, Jeff Goldblum from Hotel Artemis, which was a great film with Jodie Foster. I really enjoyed that. That was a very, very, very thoughtful, like well thought out film, great plot, and also Predator when you played Traeger, because that one scene when you said, "Why'd you call it the Predator?" He said, "Because we thought it was fucking cool."
Yeah.
That was my favorite line from the film.
Thank you.
He's also been like This Is Us, 2-time Emmy winner, Golden Globe winner. When you call somebody a winner for an outstanding actor, I think that sounds better than best actor, in my opinion. And this man is an outstanding actor.
Yes.
He's got 4 things he's going on right now with Waves. Frozen 2 was just opened at $120 million, number one at the box
Doing
office.
Solid work.
Solid
work from that Frozen franchise.
Nice
A little
word
movie
choice.
that could.
We just had Renee Elise Goldsberry here, who was
Yes.
his co-star in Waves. I mean, he's got This Is Us, which is returning in January. He's got his own
Killing
production
it.
company. The guy's doing everything right now. He's a multitasker, and he's an accomplished actor and stage guy. Please welcome Sterling K. Brown.
Yo! I need to take you Negroes with me everywhere.
Hype. This was an audition. You got the production company, so we're trying to get down, man. Absolutely. So many wonderful things going your way.
Yeah, bro.
And I can only imagine. You went to Tisch University as well?
That is correct.
That's where my daughter's graduating early from.
Congrats.
This is her last semester,
That's
by the way.
what's up.
Okay, so I got to hook y'all together because she needs work. What is... For you, what's the most exciting part of signing a deal for Indian Meadows production? What makes that so exciting for you?
I think, well, first of all, Indian Meadows is the name of the neighborhood that I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri. So big up to the Lou. And just my way of letting my people know that I represent wherever I am in the world. It was a black working class neighborhood, and I want to make sure that stories of diverse voices, marginalized voices, are front and center. You know, for such a long time, we get a chance to be the sidekick. We get a chance to be like the funny dude on the side, but I want the stories to be focused on us and to be in a position to create where you can lend your voice, your name, your talents to something, and that helps greenlight projects that might not have been greenlit elsewise. It's a wonderful feeling of empowerment. Yeah. Like, for such a big part of your career, you're just waiting for crumbs from the table of joy and just like, please, sir, can I have some more? But now people are interested in working with you and partnering with you. What do you want to do next? Well, with this production company, I get a chance to tell the stories that I think are important that the world needs to hear.
What are some of those priority stories that are already on the plate for you?
I got one right now that's in development at Fox called Everyday Insanity, and it's about 3 families that come together that each have members of their family that have mental disorders. It's really strong, something on my heart, because I have 2 people in my family with schizophrenia and various other mental diseases. And in our community, sometimes there's such a strong stigma. People don't want to share it. They don't want to talk about it. They kind of want to sweep it under the rug. And for me, the power of media is that sometimes when you see people going through the same thing that you are, but are living full, productive lives, sometimes you need to see it in order to know and recognize that it is a possibility for you as well. So that's one of them. I got something else called Washington Black, which is in development, a limited series at Hulu, which is a slave narrative that starts off on a plantation in Barbados, but it doesn't end there. He winds up escaping this plantation and winds up going to the States. He goes to Nova Scotia, he goes to London, he goes to the Arctic, like this little black boy just on his journey of self-discovery, and it finally ends up up in Morocco. So I love that it kind of takes the slave narrative and flips it over on its ear.
I like that too.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
And I got another one called Live real quick, which is a Korean property, a police drama that I'm interested in readapting for the States, because just the intersectionality of being of color and blue at the same time. Like, where do your loyalties lie when people inside of the department do some stuff that ain't quite right? Like, do you choose the blue? Do you choose the community that you represent? So I think it's some interesting thing to explore.
Sterling K. Brown, and just to put this in context, you got all of this going on.
Yeah.
And then DB named all of these different movies: Frozen 2 Waves, This Is Us, The Marvelous
Mrs. Maisel.
Mrs. Maisel is also another project. How are you balancing time?
No fucking idea.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out, because you like, how are you, like, you have to have a system, and people, when you set big tasks for yourself, you got to plan that shit out.
You do.
And time is the only true currency. You can't get it back. So you're shooting waves at the same time you're voicing Frozen.
Yeah, at one point in time I was shooting This Is Us. I would leave on the weekend to go to Florida, and then I would shoot Waves, and then I would fly back to shoot This Is Us. You have pockets of time when you go and do the vocal recording for the Frozen thing. I got a good team of people. Okay. I got a lovely manager, publicist, assistants, lawyers, agents, etc. Because sometimes you don't remember what's going on from day to day.
Yeah.
But you got a brain trust and people. You try to surround yourself with people who are smarter than you, who care about your best interest. So it's not about just like finances, but they care about you as a human being. And I feel incredibly blessed to be surrounded by people who love me.
Okay.
Right? Who we together are trying to make something successful and wonderful, but also not at the expense of my well-being. I think that's the important thing.
Yeah. Did it take time to find them, or did you like get this team on the first try?
A lot of people just come on the first try. Like, I've been with my manager for 20 years. We met at NYU. She came and saw me do an August Wilson play, and she's like, we should work together. I was like, all right. Like, the universe, God just says, like, yo, partner, I got your back. You put me first. I'm going to put you first.
Amen.
And it's been a blessed ride, bro. Even in the relative obscurity of the first 14, 15 years of my career, I've been happy. Because I've been doing what it is that I love, and I know I've been surrounded by people who authentically care about me.
There it is, Sterling K. Brown.
Yeah,
man.
it was kind of destined. You have like one of the flyest names ever. Like, when I thought it was like a fake name.
Yeah,
like, you know how some
sound like
people,
a shoe, like an expensive shoe,
Yeah.
right?
You got the Sterling K's.
You got the Sterling K's. Yeah.
You just got a new idea. That's a new one.
Yo,
Coming soon.
it's coming soon. Yeah, it's such a beautiful name, and I thought it was fake until I did your history. I did, and sort of that was your dad's name.
That's my dad's
and
name.
so on and so forth. So just the flyness of it all. Congratulations. I don't think we could just say enough. And you make us proud, like you
Thank
really
you.
do. Just being your authentic self and just seeing your history and knowing, like Sway, we clown Sway for always bigging up the Bay, but you went
I'm
to
from Oakland, man.
Yeah, he's from Oakland,
man,
so
so-
but very prestigious schools and everything. Just salute to you, for real.
Thank
salute.
you. Man. I appreciate that.
No doubt.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No. No, it's just one of those things, the education thing, because I went to Stanford, and then I'm from St. Louis. I went to Stanford University. Then I graduated, got my MFA from NYU. My mom was an educator. She was a school teacher,
okay.
has multiple master's degrees herself in divinity, in education, etc. So it was one of those things where moms said, like, I know a lot of young black boys, if they go through the school system without guidance and overseeing, get tracked into that lowest common denominator.
Right.
And she's like, this is too important. You only get one education. So go as long as you want to, and we'll find a way to make it work. It wasn't like we had a whole lot of cash or anything, but she said, this is important. Your investment in human capital, once you're done with it, like, you can take that with you and nobody can ever take it away. So, yeah.
Wow, man.
Shout out to
Royalty
her.
up in here.
Yeah.
Bay Area boy, right
Wow.
here. I mean, Missouri, I get that. Tech 9, I get it. DB, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to talk about Waves real quick
Yeah,
because
bro.
I love a film where it doesn't follow any sort of typical narrative where you can sort of, okay, we know what's going to happen. This is going to end happily and that sort of thing.
Right.
I don't want to give too much away, but it does fall in that lane where things go awry, and you know it doesn't always end happily. Just like in real life, things don't always have a happy ending. So I know with This Is Us, a lot of times things go left, and there really is no coming back from that. So do you look for projects where it typically has like a different sort of plot that doesn't have the, you know, we can figure out what's going on?
I think what I look for is like a true representation of life. You know what I'm saying? Like, and media can be used in two ways. Like, I think This Is Us is such a powerful thing because it shows life as it is, but it also sort of steers us in the way in which we should be. I feel like a lot of people say, like, I call my mom or my brother or my sister after the show is over and just feel this need to connect in times that are so fragmented. I think that Waves is also sort of shows life as it is. And it's sort of a cautionary tale from my perspective of like when people stop communicating with one another, parents with their children, etc. So many things with the devices that we have, people can be right next to each other, but not really in authentic communication with one another. And you can be under the same roof and not really know what's going on in your own house. So it's one of those cautionary things that like, make sure you pay attention to your children. Make sure you create an environment where they feel comfortable sharing any and all things with you so that they're not having to take care of things on their own or feel like they have to take care of stuff on their own.
We had Renee Elise came on the show and talked about Waves, and we talked to her about being a parent, playing a parent.
Sure.
You know, and how does that coincide? And this is what she had to say.
You can't help but having those things bleed into each other, even, you know, with Sterling K. Brown, like the fact that he is this wonderful husband and this wonderful parent and just so kind of in love with that part of his life really kind of mirrors mine. And so we spend a lot of time talking about, you know, those dynamics in our life and kind of like iron sharpening iron, like trying to enjoy that. And that kind of chemistry really feeds into the roles that we play.
Did that happen for you? Have two sons?
Two sons,
Okay.
8 and 4, Andrew and Amari.
And to playing this role, do you take from your real life?
I think you take from your real life all the time. I don't know how to play somebody that's not me.
Okay.
But I think like I had a professor at NYU say that like it's sort of controlled schizophrenia. You have all these different characters that live inside of you, and at any given point in time, you have to pull on one particular personality for something. So you cultivate yourself, and you try not to judge whatever's good, bad, and ugly because you know at some point you're going to have to use all of it, right? I do feel like being a parent has better prepared me to play a parent on screen. And even just as an actor, man, there's a part of your heart, and you know what I'm talking about, that just kind of goes, explodes open. When I delivered my first son.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
We were planning to go to like a birthing center. But Fertile Myrtle, also known as Ryan Michelle Bathay, my wife, decided that like she had her first contraction at 11 p.m. and our first son was born at 2:23 in the morning. So 3 hours and 23 minutes.
She was
didn't
ready.
make it out of the house, didn't make it out of the bedroom, delivered him on the bedroom floor. She was on all fours. Baby shot out. I caught him. Passed them in between her legs so they could start nursing before the paramedics even showed up, right? But it happened, and like I saw him, and like you hear that thing over and over again. You don't know what love is until your child is born. You know what I'm saying? You're like, yeah, whatever. And then it happens. You're like, oh shit, like y'all wasn't lying. Like this is real. So it does access a different part of yourself once you have that opportunity to bring life into the world and you see it for yourself. Different strokes for different folks. Like it's not on everybody's path, but it was part of my evolution to become the best version of myself being a dad. It's the best role I've had.
Sterling K. Brown,
You
man.
got a quarterback berth.
Yeah, no, right? Shut it out. And then
Green 22.
you know, it's a lot of Oscar buzz around Waves too.
Yeah, I've heard it.
Are you nervous about that? Wouldn't that be something?
It would be amazing.
Right?
You know, it's funny because I think about my man, Mahershala Ali, who went to NYU with me.
Where is he from originally?
He's from the Bay.
Oh, gosh. Sterling, why? Why are you doing this, Sterling?
Currently living in Brooklyn.
Sterling,
knew.
don't add it.
He
Don't add
knew.
to it. You can't. You got to watch
Listen.
this guy.
But he lived in Brooklyn, too. So,
Okay.
like, listen.
yeah.
He lived everywhere. But I think my man, like, he graduated a year before me from NYU, a lovely, soulful, beautiful human being who has 2 Oscars, right? Like, Hirsch has got 2 Oscars, and couldn't be more deserving. And I say, like, listen, if I am blessed to be nominated, because it's a really crowded category right now. I think Brad Pitt gonna be in there. Dude by the name of Tom Hanks. I don't know if you know him. He's an up and comer right now. You know what I'm saying?
He's on the rise.
Even to be like in the mentioning of those names, you couldn't tell me nothing, bro. I was nominated along with Tom Hanks. That would be cool. And if it doesn't happen, I'm proud of the flick. Like, the flick is one of those things that I hope people go see. I hope parents and children go see it together, like, especially if they're 13, 14 and up. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to be too young. But it's like an R-rated family movie, because it's going to generate a lot of wonderful conversation, and it's going to help promote a lot of healing.
Sterling K. Brown is here. Frozen 2 is also smashing box office records.
Doing all right.
Doing okay. I like how you put it. It's doing solid.
Yeah.
It's moving, Sway.
It's moving.
But moving some weight.
I had read in people.com that you were a little nervous. You had some nervousness about singing. Why is that, man? You're such a well-trained. You do everything well.
I appreciate that. I haven't had to sing for my supper, though, in a minute. And so, like, we sing at NYU, but, like, I never had to do anything professionally. So for the audition, they made me sing a song. I sang something from Ragtime, and I asked them to close the curtain. Like, we're in the studio like this. So I was like, can you guys just close the curtain so I could zone out and do my thing? And it worked out. Like, I got the part, you know what I'm saying? But when you don't sing all the time, and somebody's just like, come on, partner, let's hear you. You're like, all right.
Wait, so you had to audition?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Yeah, hashtag real talk. No, it was one of those things. I auditioned for Panther. I auditioned for Frozen 2. I've auditioned for things and have not gotten them to. So, like, there's been more opportunities that have come my way, but every once in a while people will be like, all right, man, you got to show and prove, which I appreciate.
That's dope.
Okay. The Sterling K. Brown is here. You mentioned Panther. I'm going to come to Mike Muse right after this. We got a caller, Jacob from the Bay Area.
Jacob, what's poppin'?
What up, Jacob?
Hey, Jacob.
Hey, how's it going?
Going great, man. Say what's up to Sterling K. Brown.
Hey, hello, Mr. Brown.
What's going on, man?
I called because I heard you were in Black Panther, and then I heard about your production company. I kind of was just wondering about that. I'm trying to start a production company of my own, and I was wondering if a lot of the work is relationship based on people that you've met throughout your career, or if it's finances. You just drop money and kind of get the work done that way.
There are different ways of producing things. For me, like, I'm looking not to spend all my money, but trying to find money people who are interested in my ideas, who want to help promote the vision of things that I want to put out into the world. It's about connections, you know what I'm saying? Like, what I've learned in the short period of time that I've been doing it is you think that it's a content-driven thing, and it is in part, but it's also a package-driven thing, because you can have the best content, but if you don't have the producers or the directors or the writers associated with that help move the needles at these different studios, it will fall on deaf ears. So you have to put together packages that are enticing, that basically give them no reason to say no. Right? That's what I found as a producer. Yeah. Thanks, Jacob. Yeah.
It's so true. I didn't know, but it's like reading the liner notes in an album back in the days. You used to see it, and then you start to see some of these old sitcoms that were put together. You didn't realize, like, the agency, and these are the clients that's all with the agency, and they pack the showrunners with the agency too, but in a different department, and it was like they all formed like Voltron, and then boom.
Bomb.
Damn. Remind me of verses from that first season.
There you go. Hey, Jacob, you're a citizen.
Sway the morning.
Sure, what's up, man? First, my closest friend, the Lady Combo from Stanford, the Delta. So let me tell you what's up.
Oh, what up? Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
I can do it now.
Exactly.
I used to get in trouble on the yard, but now I'm 43 years old. I don't care.
So we talk about you often, actually.
Really?
I was a Delta Jet too as well. The whole night. She told me.
Whole other language.
She told me she created the program. So
This is an inside conversation. Yeah.
But the reason why I talk about it so much is because your character in This Is Us, it was so relatable, and I could actually relate to it. And I just love how nuanced it is, because never before until your character came on the scene did we have a black man so nuanced, who's this professional that was aiming for perfection, the weight of responsibility of the family, of the world, and society and his community on his back, and the breakdown of what he had to go through in order to come out of that. And so it's very relatable. Talk to us a little bit about how much of that you helped shape in that character. Because I feel like your trajectory is very similar to the characters you're playing on This Is Us.
No, I think it's real similar. He's not me, but there is a period of time in my life when I thought that perfection was an attainable thing, and it would be crippling. You know what I'm saying? Because nothing was ever enough, and that's where Randall sort of lives, and it's sort of starting to transition into realizing that, like, maybe your best is enough. You know what I'm saying? The pursuit of it is fine, just as long as you recognize that there is no attaining, that we are all in process, in progress until the very end, and that you can release that pressure from yourself to ever actually attain some sort of perfection. I think I had that moment when I first got to Stanford. I was an economics major. I was working an internship at the Federal Reserve Bank, and I was doing well in school and with the internship, but like I wasn't happy. I thought that the goal of school was just to make bank. And then I realized that I had this thing that I loved, right? And that I had to pay attention to that love, that still small voice that says, like, hey, partner, you know, this thing that you keep putting at arm's length is actually the thing that is calling you, right? And so you trying to do the responsible thing is actually doing a disservice to yourself and actually a disservice to the people who are watching you, because you got to follow that dream. Like, that dream will yield finances eventually. And eventually it has. For a long time, your boy was just rubbing them quarters together to try to make a fire, you know what I'm saying? But I think that for me, like I said, every character is you. Not necessarily every part of you. Like I'm an emotional dude. I can wear my heart on my sleeve, and then sometimes I can be like the character from Waves, who's a bit more aloof, a bit more guarded. Sometimes just being black in America, you got to have walls, because if you let it all in all the time, it can be intense, too intense to actually like move from one step to the next. Each one of them is me, but like Randall is that dude that you love. Like, you love him, like, and you root for him because you see him trying to find his place in the world. He's a transracial adoptee, so he loves his family, but he knows that's not where he belongs. And he loves black people, but he just like, I don't really know black people that well. So he's trying to find his way to be of use, of value, connected to his folks. And I think that there's something about trying to find who is your tribe, who is your authentic tribe that most people can relate to in one form or another.
Sterling K. Brown, man.
I love this applause, by the way.
You like that? Yeah, well, you earned it, okay? Frozen 2 breaking records now. Waves was released in New York and L.A., getting good reviews by anybody who sees it. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Check that out. This Is Us Season 4 returns in January. Indian Meadows Productions is on and popping. A slew of properties that are going to be released. Look for the Sway in the Morning cast in one of these productions. I'm sure it's going to be something to be able to write us in. All right. Appreciate you, brother. Continue success.
Thank you, bro.
Absolutely. Sterling K. Brown. Up next.